be live.
You just want us to share it?
Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert with the Ted Show on this very special edition of the Home Team Series. A salute to veterans in real estate. So here we are, we're live, guys. Look at this amazing crew that we amassed today. We've got people from all over the place, all over the country, all different branches of the service. But we're here to really salute you guys and to talk about, from your perspective, which I think is unique, what's going on in the world and maybe how you're handling it. So without further ado, I'm going to start ladies first. That's just how I do it. I don't know if that's military or not, but that's how I like to roll. I'm going to start with Cindy. Cindy Abreu, correct?
Right.
Hey, Cindy, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about you.
I currently reside in Coral Gables. I've been in real estate since 2013. Still actively serving in the military. I've been in the military in the Air Force for about 23 years. Was active duty, reserve guard, and now back reserve, finishing up my time before I retire next year. And so pretty much up until 2013, I was actually working for the government as a civilian. And, things intervened, the universe intervened, a higher power, I guess. And there was a hiring freeze as I was changing jobs within my career field. And there was a hiring freeze and something led me to real estate. And I've been in it ever since. But grew up down here in Miami, Florida. Lived for a few years when I was a kid up in New York City, which is where my mother and her family are from. And I am married and we have 2 boys. And life is good. We're definitely blessed. So can't complain.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Eileen Winfrey, how about you?
So that's my name. I'm Eileen Winfrey. And
Don't wear it out.
Yes, I was in the military, although everyone finds that hard to believe. Nothing like Cindy. Bravo, girl. There's no way I would have ever have been able to stay as long as you did.
It's the healthcare, that's why.
There you go. There you go. I also was in the Air Force, and I want no cracks from any of the guys that are on here because I get that enough from people. Of course, you were in the Air Force. And I also was security police, or for you, Army and Marine in the middle, right? There, so military police. I was in Germany. I was stationed in Germany in Kaiserslautern, and I was on the air base out there, not in Ramstein. And so we served with a bunch of the Army MPs in Kaiserslautern because we patrolled the outside of Ramstein and where all of the military folks lived and caroused and had to be wrangled in. So that's
Are there pictures of that, Eileen? We'll have to get pictures of that at some point.
Oh my God, I can tell you lots of stories. And then you'll know why I was like, I don't think this is the right career field for me for some reason.
Just don't tick her off. All right, how about you, Ernie?
Well, I'm Ernie Plaza. I'm here in Orlando, Florida. I just retired from the Army Reserve, 22 years.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ernie.
Big time.
I do miss the uniform, Pete. I do miss it. So let's see. I've been in real estate going on 6 years. I didn't left. I got fired from my last job and I had no choice. And I said, I'm going to be my own boss. And then I went into real estate. So I took everything I learned in the military, leadership skills, and started my real estate career. In the military, I was a drill sergeant for too many years. I was a senior drill sergeant for Orlando, Florida. I helped start the unit. And the last 3 years, I went into career counseling, where I will help people stay in the military. Right, Cindy? And then
you're such a sweet guy, Ernie. I can't imagine you as a drill sergeant.
And being a drill sergeant.
Yeah, I posted those pictures. And it's funny, my daughter-in-law yesterday was asking me that she just can't, because my son found the video of me actually taking people off the bus, and she's like, I can't believe that's you. And yeah, it's just, your voice fluctuates and you just go into that mode. But as a real estate agent, I'm not that person. person. I stay firm with what needs to be done. I educate my buyers, sellers, and all that stuff. Give good service, but nothing about yelling and all that good stuff.
No yelling. Eileen, I'm sorry, I skipped over your real estate. Tell us about that. I apologize.
Me?
So let's see.
Eileen.
I've been in real estate now for 22 years. So I always tell, so some of you were in the military for over 20, and so I'm doing the real estate thing for over 20. So I always tell everyone, I don't think I would know what else to do. And when I really thought about it, like, how did the military, serve me or assist me with having this career? And I do feel really blessed that I get to work for myself, because I would have never been able to be a drill sergeant. I'm the one that got in trouble for rolling her eyes when you yelled at me.
Still does.
Oh, yes, I still do. So, but I think you're right when you were saying, the habits that you learn to create, and also the leadership skills that you learn. And, people think we have such an easy job. We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
And, you learn to be, optimistic, because you've gone through a lot of other things that were much worse. And, you just keep moving forward, and you know that you're in this because you're here to serve people. That's what our job is. We need to make the buyers and sellers happy and get through the transaction. So that's me.
All right. Thank you. Lance Maiden, how about you?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on the show. I'm glad to be here and be associated with all of you. Some of you I know, and some of you that I'm friends with already. And the ones that I'm not, I'm looking forward to getting to know more about you. My name is Lance Maiden. I'm a real estate agent with Christie's International of Northern New Jersey. I used to be a real estate agent in New York, and I've been an agent in New Jersey now more than 6 years. I have about 10 years altogether in the real estate field. Going back to my military time, I also was in the Air Force, aim high.
Yay.
Okay. I was supposed to be an aircraft electrician, and it turned out that wasn't for me. And I became a cook and a baker, and I loved it. It's a hobby of mine today, cooking and baking and all different kind of cuisines. But the skills that I learned being a food service specialist in the Air Force was all those same qualities that we use in real estate: customer service, attention to detail, integrity, following instructions, all those kind of things. And those same qualities that I had in the Air Force serving and helping the troops is what I'm doing now when I'm helping a family buy or sell a home in New Jersey, whether they're using a VA loan, a FHA, or conventional, whatever it is. Once I find out that they have a military connection, it definitely gives me that extra pride. I'm also a military relocation professional with the National Association of Realtors. And if you see this poster behind me, I founded a group in New Jersey called Veterans of New Jersey. And I've built it up to more than 2,000 veterans that are in the state of New Jersey. Within the group, we help each other in so many ways. Number one being camaraderie. We're looking out for each other. We're helping each other, advice, friendship. And if anybody needs any type of help with a job or with information or service connected info or anything, someone else is ready to jump in and help them within the group. So that's fantastic. Angelo and Louis are part of the group. I expanded it to Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Any of you are welcome to join those parts of social media. The New Jersey group is specifically for New Jersey veterans. And every single day it's growing. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
I've built up a tremendous camaraderie and friendship with the Marine Corps League, the American Legion, the VFW, Disabled American Veterans, AMVETS. I go to these functions and I've made a lot of friends from it. It's really great.
I love that you're giving back like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Peter Rippich, how about you? We're going to shift over to the loan side.
Yeah, went to the dark side. Let me back up. They call me Mr. 22, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But my military career started out ROTC, and then I went over to Germany, got my graduate degree over in K-Town. So I'm kind of familiar where you're at, Eileen.
Yep.
Was over in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, did all that fun stuff. So had some time in the sandbox. When I got back, I actually went in the reserves, moved to Orlando, was in the reserves, moved down here to Miami. Ernie, I actually started the drill sergeant program here in the state of Florida back in the day, if you remember Colonel Lucky, and I'll talk to you more about it. But we went all through. We started up in Orlando. We started down here in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, and a couple units over in Puerto Rico. So it's kind of pretty cool.
So we were probably intertwined because I was with St. Pete.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I'm sure it was myself and one of my E7s going around stealing high-speed NCOs like yourself, trying to convince them to be drill sergeants.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
Candidate program, hell yeah.
I had a break in service. I got married in 2004, and at that time I got called up to go to Iraq again, and I kind of didn't really want to do that, so I took a break in service. I got divorced in 2014, so I had a break in service for about 10 years. One of my right-hand men at the time said, look, Pete, you need to come back in. I had 17 years in the military. So I wanted to be like Cindy. I wanted to be like you, graduate, retire from the military. And most people won't understand this. And I got back in the military. I did a special reappointment. So I came back in 2018. And I can tell you, there's not a better feeling being part of the team. And when I call it the team, I call it America's team, whether it's the Air Force, the Marines, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, etc. To wear the uniform and be part of the military, I couldn't be more proud. So I'm so happy to be back in. I've been back in since 2018. Got a couple more years to go till I'll retire so I can be like you guys. I might be getting promoted. Hopefully, if all goes well, I went in front of the promotion board. I find out in June if I get promoted to colonel. Knock on wood, I think I meet all the criteria, military education, stuff like that. My big thing right now is I do a lot of VA loans. I'm on the mortgage side. So, nobody's going to take care of a veteran like a fellow veteran. So I tell them from one veteran to another, I got your back. I'm going to make sure you guys are taken care of all the way from, the title, working with great agents. I try and work with real estate agents. For instance, Cindy and I are doing a deal right now with somebody she knows at Southcom. I was out working at Southcom in the Joint Operations Command this week, talking to a couple veterans, talking with one of her guys that we're going to get approved to buy a home. So really exciting stuff. Glad to be back in. Glad to be on the show, Ted. Thanks for having us, and really a great tribute you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Pete. All right, Angelo, Louie Rosario. Tell us about you, Angelo.
What's going on, Ted? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being the impetus. I have to give credit. I have to give credit to Louie because he's, he and I late night Instagram. If you know me and we all get to know each other, if you get a message from me at 2 a.m, I'm just wide awake, and I'm thankful when somebody else is also wide awake at 2 a.m. But thank you for that, Louie. All right, go ahead. Sorry about that.
All right, so I'm a United States Marine. I served actively for 4 years a little while ago. I'm currently still in the National Guard, Air Force National Guard, where I do cybersecurity. I just recently retired from the New York Police Department as a sergeant. I was in the Counterterrorism Bureau.
Wow.
I'm a man of service. So pretty much whatever mission it is changes. Now my mission now with the home team of Freedom Mortgage, my mission is to get my clients the best deal, where I look out for them, get them a great rate, take care of them, make sure their deal's taken care of. Now I do that for veterans and I do that for regular people because that's just who I am. I serve. I've been serving the public, still serving the public, having a great time. I met a lot of great people. Me and Lance, we know each other, and it was just off a Facebook post, commenting some good American, Facebook post, and he jumps on, introduces himself. We become good buddies. Now we're helping people together. So this veteran community, we're all about service. We're all about helping. The mission's changed. Now we're not out there, serving, America, but now we're serving the people of whatever city that we're working in to get the American dream of buying a home or getting their home.
I like it.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Last but not least, Mr. Sanchez, Santana, down in the bottom there. Tell us a little bit about you, how you served, and what you do.
Awesome. Thank you, Ted, for having me on the call.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Definitely a great panel. So I've been in the military for 16 years. Actually, just hit 16 years last week on the 22nd. And yes, I am making it a career. I've been through a few different changes in my career. I originally started off as an enlisted on the enlisted route, made it to E6, and then went to what we call the dark side, which is the officer route. So far, so good. Enjoying it. Enjoying the career change, and so now what I did is I picked up on the mortgage side with Freedom Mortgage. I originally got licensed in 2014. At the time, I had too much going on, so I didn't. I did it for about a year. I came across it coincidentally, looking for at a job fair, looking for things for some of my soldiers to get them into the job field. And I got information regarding being a loan officer, and it intrigued me. Going back to what Angelo said about service, it was another way that I can give back and provide service to the people here in New Jersey. So I got licensed here, stopped doing it, and then came back into the business in 2019. And then I joined Freedom here recently in February 2020. I have a wife, a little Yorkie, and that's pretty much where I stand. So back to the characteristics, just like Angelo and many have said here, including Lance, I'm all about, giving back, and some of the things that I'm using that obviously translate from the military is time management, communication, and that attention to detail that Lance described.
Awesome. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of questions. With this many panel, it takes a while. So I appreciate y'all's patience, but I think your information and your insight is just so valuable to especially what's going on. But I'll get to COVID in a minute. I want to ask a product question because I think it's so important to hear from veterans who are in our industry about VA loans. And one of the things that I come across that really aggravates me terribly is the fact that there's still so much negativity toward a VA loan. And a lot of real estate professionals don't want to deal with them, have misperceptions about them. And so if you can educate, if you guys can give some idea, and I'll start with, I know that Ernie and Pete are both super involved in VREP. But I want to talk about that because I can't tell you how many times when I actually originated loans, when my loan was, the offer was not accepted because we had a VA loan versus another traditional loan. So let me start with you, Ernie. What have you experienced there? And then what can you guys tell the people, the general population, the sellers who are accepting these deals and the realtors who are representing them about a VA loan that makes it so it's not scary?
Basically right now, especially right now, the lenders, you guys are proofing and qualifying people a lot stricter in the sense that, because of all this going on, double checking things and double checking them again. But when it comes to a veteran, they're such a solid buyer. They got the backing of the military. They just got rid of the loan cap. So now it's basically they could buy whatever they qualify. A lot of people don't realize that veterans, they still got to go through the loan process and still qualify for the loan, and whatever rate they get depends on their credit and debt and all that good stuff. That's why I have these experts here to take care of that. But once that's done, and that the pre-checks start going to underwriting and they do semi-underwriting checks, they're solid. They're a solid buyer. Why shouldn't you accept a VA loan that's backed, that you know it's not going to fail. You know, you mentioned VA Rep. VA Rep's mission is all about helping the veterans and educating all aspects of real estate, which is a lender, title company, home inspector, anybody who services a buyer or seller in a transaction of buying a property or selling one, to get rid of those myths. Like, you know, there's the appraiser is a home inspector. No, he's not. He's not.
Well, I remember one of the things that came back and on one of mine was that the appraisal was, you had to have 3 or 4 different appraisals. Well, so Pete, talk about that, because I think, again, the real estate community, you guys are doing such a great job with VREP, but we all as an industry need to do a better job of accepting and listening to the information that you all have. So talk about that a little bit.
No, that's fantastic. And look, Ernie kind of hit it on the head, and you mentioned VREP. VREP's an organization where we go out, and the key is to educate the realtors, get the realtors informed, whether it's about appraisals, whether it's about accepting an offer. And let me talk about accepting an offer for an instance. A lot of people have this misconception that a veteran is putting no money down. So I don't want to take that offer because he's not putting any money down. I have this other offer where somebody's putting 10 grand down. So I try and work with realtors, and I explain to them, I said, look, you still have to put closing costs in there. A veteran has to pay for closing costs. So if they're not getting a seller's credit or something else like that, I tell them, try and put, maybe put 10 grand in there. So the realtor understands, yes, this is just as good, if not better. It's actually better because, like Ernie mentioned, it's backed by the government. It's a great loan. They're still pre-qualified. They have their income, their credit, all that stuff. So it's really a great opportunity. So I think that's one of the misconceptions, because people think, oh, they're not putting any money down. And then you mentioned the appraisal. The appraisal, look, these guys are expert appraisers, meaning they're VA certified. Back in the day, people were so concerned about these appraisals where they would have a bad taste in their mouth, meaning the appraiser came out there and, oh my God, it's coming 100,000 less than the appraised value. That really doesn't happen. These guys are out there to protect the veterans. I've never had any problems unless maybe it's a roof. A roof needs to be redone, but any appraiser is going to find that. So that's just another misconception. So the whole key is to educate the realtors, educate the public, so when they're presenting that offer, that it's presented properly.
Thank you, because I think I usually don't talk product on the shows because it's a salute to veterans, but I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about that, because I've just dealt with it myself and seen it so much. Yes. Oh, I see a hand raised. Is that something you can do, Lance? I've never seen that happen before.
So fancy.
That's so fancy. All right, Lance, you get to go.
All right. Thank you. I'm involved in some other Zoom conferences with some other groups that I'm involved with, and that's one of the features that they are trying to push. So I got that down.
I like it.
Fellas and ladies, like you said, the whole thing with VA loans is, at the end of the day, at the closing, the money's all the same. It doesn't matter whether it's a conventional loan or FHA loan or VA loan. At closing, it's the same money that the seller is going to get. The basic thing is that there's one extra inspection that the VA does. The appraisal still has to be done, the survey, the title search, that's all the same. So it's just one extra inspection. And as far as putting no money down or a little bit of money down, if somebody puts down $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 or $500, they can still back out of the deal during the house inspection anyways. So it really doesn't even matter. It matters on the person, their job, the type of job that they have, I would say is important during this pandemic, whether they have a secure type of job or whether it's a job that could just disappear and then the deal could get tossed. It's really not a big thing. Like you're saying, the public makes it more than it is because of lack of information. Information. It's basically one extra inspection. And the inspection is, peeling paint, a railing by a stairway so nobody falls down the stairs. Simple things that make sense anyways.
Agreed. Oh, I like the raised hand thing though. I have to remember that for the next home team one we do. All right, so
I've actually had to clarify a few things for some colleagues when it comes to that, and one of those things is, you know, we have our own group forum where we actually kind of collaborate and, you know, spitball a few things here and there. And so, for instance, we had a colleague who had a question about VA loans, and another colleague who basically told them, oh yeah, well, just keep in mind, I wouldn't ask for any more seller credit because of all of the additional fees, you know, a VA loan requires. And I'm like, no, not really. And then I had to kind of explain, okay, the main obligation the seller has for the most part is, for instance, paying for the termite inspection. That's like $70, you know, maybe 65, something, you know, low like that. So it's not just the public as far as, sellers out there, but yes, definitely realtors out there that need to know that information. And so, you know, Pete and these guys, you guys are doing a great job with, you know, making sure that that information is out there, because it's just, I don't know why it's so taboo. I'm not sure what happened back in the day that made people kind of freak out about this, but just like everyone's saying, this is a guaranteed loan. I mean, this is a for sure solid buyer backed by the government, whereas, you know, the other, you know, civilian buyer, you know, may not be. So, or, you
it's
know,
just, it was important to bring up with you guys on here. And I appreciate your insights. VREP, Ernie just put up varep.net. I think that's Ernie. Look, I'm learning this whole chat thing. I don't know, guys. It's good. Thanks for challenging me. But I agree. I just think it's so important. So realtors out there, sellers out there who are listening to their realtors, do not, under any circumstances, be afraid just because it's a VA loan. And I think that the more that we can educate, the better. All right, I want to talk about the pandemic. Because I think you guys have a unique perspective. I'm a civilian, always have been, never been in the military. And I think that you all, regardless of where your service was and what branch you're in, you have a very, very different perspective, and one that comes from a place that I think it would be great if you shared, because everybody's been in this mode. There's been so much that the sky is falling. And then we went to this calm of, okay, vacation's really good. I'm a little bored, but vacation's good. And now we're all on the edge of our seats trying to figure out what's happening next. Are we going to open in Florida, for example, April 30th or May 3rd? What's going to happen with the nation? So from your perspective, from what you know in real estate and your perspective, military, can you tell us what you're doing? What are you doing? And what are you thinking is going to happen next? And I'm going to start with Cindy.
What do I think is going to happen next? Well, you know, it's kind of funny. So, you know, obviously throughout this whole pandemic, thankfully, we're still considered essential, despite everything that's going on. So as far as what I think is going to happen, I mean, for the most part, you know, at least from what I've seen down here, you know, prices for the most part still remain steady. Obviously, the traffic has been much lower. But, you know, we do still have our clients that we're dealing with and things like that. You know, you have those that are a little hesitant to get out in the market, even though maybe they were planning to, because now of that uncertainty, maybe with their finances and their job and things like that. So they kind of want to hold on to, you know, whatever funds they have, which is totally understandable. You know, I like to think of myself as an optimist, and I feel like, you know, it's one of those races. You know, I have a 5-year-old son, and he's got toys up the yin yang, and, you know, his cars especially, and I feel like it's one of those race cars. And I could be wrong. My husband's more of a finance guy, so he thinks it's going to be a little bit, you know, on the bad side here. But I really feel that, you know, once things start opening up, again, like the race car, you're pulling it back, and I feel like it's just going to zoom off. I feel like everyone is just so wound to go out there and splurge, and whether it's going out to eat, going out to different, you know, places, different communal places and things like that. I think those that have been hunkering down, maybe, you know, getting ready to go in the market once everything's good to go, I think we will have that rush in real estate that we were hoping for, that we're definitely hoping for. So, you know, and then again, you know, for the most part, while this is happening, I work for a brokerage called Real Estate Salesforce, RESF, and we have an amazing broker. And since I've been in, I mean, I just feel like our brokerage is so technologically advanced. We've always been doing the virtual tours since I can remember. And so that's, exponentially helped us out, when it comes to any of the virtual showings and things like that. So, we're at least keeping some, some interest out there and things like that. But I'm trying to be an optimist. I am an optimist, and I really feel like the economy is going to start bumping back up. I think people are just revving to go and just trying to get back to normal. And so that's kind of my take on it.
How about you? You're in a different place, Louis, than Cindy is. So tell us what you're feeling and thinking and experiencing up there. And the reason I brought the military part in, just to kind of give you guys what I was thinking. You all just remain calm in most challenging situations. So I think because you have seen a whole different world than most of us have seen, you have a calm about you that we don't when we're approaching something like a pandemic.
You know what, and I'm sorry, I don't think and I'm sorry, I didn't touch on that, and I apologize for interrupting, but I do want to point out, and I think my fellow comrades, here at Arms might agree with me here. And it's funny because with this pandemic, it almost feels like a deployment. I feel like the civilians now understand what it's like, in a sense, to be deployed. And I think that's what makes it so easy for us. It's like, hey, this is nothing. This is like going to Iraq, or going to Afghanistan, or going somewhere in Europe. But this is pretty much, it's monotonous. This is our life. And it's one of those things where I think now the public gets to understand a little bit of our world. There's an unseen enemy. We're all in it together. We're doing what we have to do, that kind of thing. But I believe that's partly why, if not mainly why, we're all kind of like,
you're very calm.
We're waiting it out.
All right, how about you, Louis? You're in a different part of the world than Cindy and me. What's going on up there, and what's your perspective?
Well, it's New Jersey, so there's always something going on up here, right? Just to tie the military piece to this, you said we stay calm and everything. So it's funny because, again, I hit 16 years last week, and I was just looking through some of my old pictures. I saw some pictures in there. I just remember back to those times, and I said, man, that really sucked. But then I saw one of the pictures, and I was like completely smiling, So I guess that prepares us for things like this. So as far as what's coming, honestly, I'm sure everyone in this panel can agree that I personally didn't change anything that I was doing different. I'm actually still prospecting. Because like Cindy said, you're rolling the car back, and as soon as this is all over, and again, this is all opinion based, but once this is over, you are going to have people that want to go out to eat. And obviously they haven't been out like that in probably over a month now. So as soon as this is all over, you are going to have a spurge of people that are going to be out looking to buy. I know that there's real estate agents still showing houses, and people are still getting pre-approved. But there's going to be even more people that are going to be looking to do it, because right now a good portion of the population probably hesitant to be out there looking for homes.
Great.
So
how about you, Angelo?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was going to say, just on my end, we're always taught to stay resilient. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just improving my operations here through all the applications, and getting prepared for when that influx does come.
So you guys always sound positive when you speak as well. How about you, Angelo?
For me, it's I'm just doing a lot more. So everybody's home, everybody's glued to their phone, everybody's on their computers. There's nothing to do. They'll scroll. So I'm helping out my team, the home team. I push things out, and we're putting out information. We're informing them. We're keeping them calm, and we're using that approach now, because now social media has become so big. Ted, this. You have a shows a day. Everybody is easy to touch people in other places over the internet. People you can talk to a realtor, calm a realtor down, give them information, talk to a buyer, know what's going on. So for me, I've been using the social media platform so much more pandemic, and it's good because I'm also home. I've been in the military, been on police officer, sergeant in the police department for a long time, hardly ever home, always out and about. I'm there doing mortgages, just never home. I'm actually spending a lot of time with my son, my wife. It's beautiful. I'm calm, and to me, nothing really changes. The only thing that's changing is that I get to sleep in a little later. I get to hang out at home. So that's the big. And I think
you guys
that,
are also so resourceful, right? That's the other thing that I think of in my mind. That I know you're not MacGyver, but you probably all have been at one point in your lives or your careers. So how about you, Eileen? What's your perspective?
Okay, so where are we starting first? With
wherever you'd like.
I know, because everyone was in different spots.
Because you were military police, so I don't mess with you. We're good.
Yes, you know that. Very true. So I've been super busy. I mean, God bless, because I know not everybody, in real estate and loans are right now. It depends on where you're located. And, just like Cindy said, in Florida, we're essential. So we are allowed to go out and show our buyers. Today I was staging a house that's going to get photographs on Friday, listed this weekend. I called another client that we had, her house was being painted. That's going on the market next week. I had my we've always done like virtual tours for all of my homes, but never really saw the impact of it until this happened. I put a house on the market on April 1st. It sold that day. They never went inside the house because the owner didn't want them inside. She's older and was really scared. So I said, drive over, walk around the house. You can see the outside and the pool, see if you like the neighborhood, and watch the tour. And I got 2 offers that day just by doing that. So that's definitely interesting. Usually you tell people to look at the virtual tour, but they still want to see it. These people actually put offers in. And I have 2 different people, 2 families relocating, one from Ohio, the other one from Dallas. So I'm like, where are all you people coming from? Aren't you supposed to be in your house? So down here, things are, still moving. So I always say, I am really doing the same thing I have been, at least when it comes to work. Everything else is, of course, stagnant, seeing your family 24/7. I'm sure I drive them all crazy, that sort of thing. So
no doubt in my mind.
Comment about
how about you, Pete? What's up in your world? What's your perspective?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. A lot of stuff going on. We lost a couple sales, couple purchases. A couple people backed out. We had a veteran got laid off, so he backed out of a purchase. We had somebody else putting money down. This is about a month ago that already was in contract under escrow. Backed out of it because of all this craziness, the uncertainty. So I guess time will tell. We'll see what happens there. On the work side, we're still doing buyers. I got a couple purchases that we're working on. Again, doing a lot of refis. We're in this little refi boom right now where we're getting much better rates. Freedom Mortgage has excellent rates. VA loans, we're crushing it, 2.75, 2.875. The one thing, down here, again, I told you, I'll give you a little military perspective. I've been going out to Southcom, and I know Cindy goes out there, and, this is a real deal epidemic. Our area of responsibility is Latin America. So we focus on, Ecuador and, everything down in Latin America. So we see the numbers on a daily basis, what's going on down there and what's happening with the epidemic, the coronavirus, as well as counter narcotics, what's going on with the drug trafficking. We've had a lot of drug interdiction. I know the president, Secretary of Defense was on TV talking about some of this. So there's still a lot of real world activities going on. And I just share that we as the military and the community are taking it serious. We don't have it as bad as New York or New Jersey. We haven't seen that come through here, but when you talk to the medical professionals, and I know some people have different opinions, we should be out next week or we should wait, you just got to be careful. So if you're going out, if you're showing properties, make sure you're wearing your mask, make sure you're wearing your gloves, because like I said, at Southcom, everybody's mandatory 6 feet away. When we're in conference rooms or rooms together, everybody is staying apart. So just make sure everybody does their part to stay safe, and we'll get through this together. And the only other thing I would say is, do a buddy check. I'm big into suicide awareness for veterans. Look, it's pretty stressful right now with this quarantine. A lot of people insecure, not knowing what's going to happen with their job, whether it's buying a house or their regular civilian job, getting a little crazy. I heard Eileen saying driving the family crazy. I make sure I go for a sanity walk a couple times a day between my civilian job, my personal life, family issues, stuff like that. So I would say just reach out and talk to people. And, whether it's for business, at least you're talking to people and staying connected. And that'll help us all get through this. And, sooner than later, we'll be back out there to our normal routines.
Amen.
Yep.
All right, Ernie, I haven't forgotten you. I know you have you and Lance left. Ernie, tell us what your perspective is. You're up here in Orlando with us.
Well, I think the reason why you're seeing that the military people like us are a little bit calmer is because we're kind of conditioned already, from day one that Joe Sarn grabs them and strips away the civilian life and says, you won't do anything until I tell you to do it, when I do it, all this great stuff. So we're kind of focused where we're waiting for the right information to come down and then act upon that, right? And then we don't take risk. We make sure that whatever we do, and safety's first always. So, we stay focused to do what needs to be done, nothing else silly. For instance, I had, since I do a lot of veterans, and we all do, right? And we're very veterans of New Jersey. I see that all day. I'm already gonna look you up, okay? From Jersey, so we do so much. So then we actually become something where the communities out there reach out to us. So I think one of the things that we do difference is, I'm part of VA Rep. I'm part of MARN. That's another one I'm part of, and I'm also part of Lake Nona Veterans Club, which is in Lake Nona VA Hospital right here in Orlando. And we have people that always reach out to us. So I had someone literally say, hey, I need someone to talk to. Peter, we talk, on VA Rep, we do the stop, drop, and push. And I said, hey, always you got me to call, you got this person to call. So we go into action to help out in the community that way. I think that's because people look at us as military. So, they see all these movies. Another example is I had another realtor friend of mine, love him to death. And he says, hey, the National Guard's being called out. What's going on? Is this going to happen? This was like week 2 or week 1. And like, hey, don't freak out. If the National Guard's being activated, it's because it's a state emergency. They probably need them to be stationed somewhere to help with, doing some testing, just keeping things in order. So we have that mindset that we know that things are going to be taken care of, and we know things are going to be done to help the public. And, being an old school reservist, twice the citizen, if you guys remember that, that's how we are. We're 2 citizens. We're in the military. We do all that, but we're also regular civilians. But we have that mindset of just keeping focused and, hey, calming everybody else down or giving them the insight as we get it. And we know not to disperse anything that's crazy. So that's my take on that mindset. As far as the market, everybody's right. I mean, it's here in Florida, Orlando, Florida, it's still working. I'm getting listings because people are reaching out. Hey, I want to sell. And it's not because they're afraid of the market. It's because they're saying, what, I want to make sure I get sell my property before the properties drop down a little bit, because it's not going to drop down dramatically like it did before. It's not even, no one could say it's going to drop down, but they're projecting it, right? They're seeing that coming, and everybody wants to take advantage of the market before the appraisals kick in and catch up with the market. So I'm getting a couple more listings. Buyers, I'm taking them out. There was with someone yesterday. Put my gloves on, my mask, sport it out, love it. And just make sure they stayed away. And I opened up everything. I closed everything and sprayed as I left and sprayed as I came in. And it's just different procedures, but I think as
you guys are good at procedures, that's for sure. And I mean, that part of it must be like easy. Most of us are like, what? A mask? What is happening?
With my listings, I ask that people please spray and do all that good stuff, because we have to take care of the sellers, right?
I
It's just-
know. I'm glad you do it, but I was just thinking, God, you guys, no wonder you can adapt much quicker. You're used to that. I'm not used to rules and regulations like that.
If you see people in mop gear, then we got an issue. Right?
No, I don't know. I had to
Mop
put on
gear
a
is like when
mask
they have the
yesterday, and I
mask.
thought this is crazy. All right, Lance, I didn't mean to leave you to last, but that's just how
No.
it kind of rolled around this time. How about you?
That's fine. I think it's important for ourselves and also the people that we help to just make sure we consolidate our expenses, be smart about planning ahead for the future, to just help put ourselves and our circles in a better situation. In my personal opinion, I feel there's people that are going to be relocating, maybe for employment, maybe for family needs, and we can be there to help them make that adjustment easier. I'm taking the time now, since I do have some extra time, I'm taking another certification with the National Association of Realtors. There's things that we can do to enhance our own careers right now also, and give ourselves more information and, become better for everybody. Just like Ernie and everyone else said, we're using technology. We're using the 3D Matterport tours. We're using the video tours. We can basically list a house to sell and only go to the home one time. We could help buyers with all this different use of technology and the digital signatures and the digital forms to avoid as much of that person-to-person contact. We all have that capability. And at the same time, I'm trying not to be pushy at all with anybody. I'm trying to be more helpful. If I could help somebody that has a small business or someone that's looking for a job, or if I see some information about working from home or museum tours online for kids, I'm sharing this information to help people that I know, to try to make it a little easier for them. And then when it comes time for them to need real estate help, hopefully they'll remember me and say, hey, let's call that guy Lance. Things like that. Just being helpful, being a community resource as much as possible is a big plus. And that's what I would definitely suggest to anyone that's in our field, whether they're a title person or a mortgage person or an appraiser or a realtor.
Awesome. All right. So out of respect for your time, since we went way over the time I allotted, I just want to say thank you and if you want to pop in, that's fine, but I want to give big thanks and kudos. We really do take it seriously at the home team. We are really, really, really grateful and thankful for our veterans, our military that are currently serving. It's just a really important part of our culture. We talk about it, we do live it, and we love to have people like Pete and Angelo and Louis represent us. It's an honor. You guys are amazing. I felt calm the whole time. I mean, it wasn't only the White Claw, but it was most definitely being around, because when you're around people who have been through 1,000 times worse things than this, and you guys are all calm and still doing business and still talking about what's coming up and being optimistic. That's what I wanted people to see from the show, is that, if you guys can do it, we can all do it. So thank you, Cindy, Eileen, Pete, Angelo, Louis, Ernie, and Lance. You guys are amazing. Mwah.
Nice
Thank you
meeting
so
y'all.
much. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Watching.
Bye,
We had
guys.
tons of people
Thank you,
watching.
Ted.
Thank you from my heart. I appreciate all of you.
Ted.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. All
Thank
right.
you, Ted.
Bye bye.
Take care, guys. Be safe.
later.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Great day. Peace. Hey.
Peace out.